Alright, in this last set of notes down here, we're going to be evaluating variable expressions with exponents. So if you remember, an exponent is a tiny number that tells us how many times that number is going to multiply by itself. So in example 6, we have evaluate x squared for x equals 1/3. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to plug in 1/3 for x, and I get 1/3 to the second power. 1/3 to the second power is just 1/3 times 1/3. So I'm going to write this step out and look for anything that I can cross-reduce. Because I can't cross-reduce anything, I'm just going to multiply straight across. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. And x to the second power for x equals 1/3 is 1/9. Next we have 3 times m to the third power for m equals 2. This one is one where people make a really common mistake because they really quickly, they want to multiply 3 times 2 first and then take that to the third power. However, this is m to the third, not 3 to the third or 3m and then all of that, the quantity 3m to the third. This is just m to the third power. So we have to go back to order of operations. And order of operations tells us to do exponents before we multiply. So for this one, we have to do 2 to the third power first, which is 2 times 2 times 2. And then we can multiply that by 3. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So we have 3 times 8. And then our evaluation is 24. If we had not done 2 to the third power first and we did 3 times 2 first, we would have gotten 6 to the third power. I know that 6 times 6 is 36, and then 36 times 6 gives us 216. That is not the same number as 24. So that's why it's very, very important that we are careful when we do this stuff and make sure that we're thinking about order of operations when we do it. Example number 8 says w to the fourth power plus q to the second power for w equals 2 and q equals 7. So again, I'm just plugging these numbers in for the given variables. 2 to the fourth plus 7 to the second. When we use order of operations, we're going to start with exponents. 2 to the fourth is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, plus 7 to the second is 7 times 7. So if you need a calculator, you can. Hopefully on these ones you don't. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, plus 7 times 7 is 49. And then here, if you need a calculator, you can pull it out. If you don't, that's okay too. You can always show your work to the side of your paper as well. 16 plus 49 if you need to line them up. Both ways, I get my evaluation to be 65. So w to the fourth power plus q to the second power for w equals 2 and q equals 7 is 65. Now, the last set, I want you to pause the video and try these two on your own and then come back to see how you did. Alright, so hopefully you tried these two and you plugged in 3 for D and 1 for C. 3 to the third power is one of the most common mistakes for exponents because you so quickly want to do 3 times 3. However, 3 to the third power is 3 times 3 times 3, and then we're going to add 1. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. Plus 1 is equal to 28 is our answer here. And 2 times y to the second power minus 7, we're plugging in 5 for y and remembering order of operations. This is 2 times 5 to the second power minus 7. Order of operations says we must do exponents first. 5 to the second power is 5 times 5, which is 25. So 2 times 25 minus 7. Then I'm going to think about quarters. 2 quarters is 50 cents, so 2 times 2 is 50, minus 7, and then I can do my subtraction. 50 minus 7 is 43.